Hello, this is Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com. The Guardian has a new article out. World faces terminal loss of Arctic sea ice during summers. Report warns. The dramatic vanishing of polar ice sheets will cause catastrophic sea level rise that will threaten cities, according to a major new study. The climate crisis has pushed the planet's stores of ice to a widespread collapse that was unthinkable just a decade ago, with Arctic sea ice certain to vanish in summers and ruinous sea level rise from melting glaciers now already in motion. A major new report has warned. That sounds really bad. Now let's take a look and see if what they're saying is true. They say this was unthinkable just a decade ago. 6 years ago, The Guardian said, next year or the year after, the Arctic will be free of ice. 14 years ago, The Guardian said, scientists warned that the North Pole could be free of ice in just 5 years' time instead of 60. 15 years ago, they said, ice-free Arctic could be here by the year 2030. Here's an article from 70 years ago. Dr. William S. Carlson, an Arctic expert, said last night that polar ice caps were melting at an astonishing and unexplained rate and threatened to swamp seaports by raising ocean levels. The glaciers of Norway and Alaska are only half the size they were 50 years ago. Here's an article from 45 years ago. Antarctic ice collapse perils world's coastal cities. December 11th, 1939. All the glaciers in eastern Greenland are rapidly melting. It may, without exaggeration, be said that the glaciers of Greenland, like those in Norway, face the possibility of a catastrophic collapse. 1934, will melting icebergs engulf the world? And they had a picture of Manhattan underwater. April 7th, 1923, North Pole melting. Many glaciers vanished. Is the North Pole going to melt entirely? Conditions in the eastern Arctic all point to a radical change in climatic conditions with hitherto unheard of high temperatures on that part of the Earth's surface. The Guardian said that these predictions were unthinkable just a decade ago, but the Guardian's been saying the same thing for decades. In the real world, there's more Arctic sea ice now than there was 15 years ago. And the surface mass balance of Greenland has been well above average for 5 out of the last 7 years. That means that the surface of Greenland has been gaining an exceptionally large amount of ice over the past few years. Every single claim in this Guardian article is fake news, which has become the gold standard for most of the mainstream media. But to be fair, the Guardian has always been fake news. We're getting close to the 50th anniversary of this article from the Guardian. Space satellites show new ice age coming fast. Toto has been pulling back the curtain on this scam for the past 14 years. You can visit him, Kyrie Caesar, Toki and Upla on the web at RealClimateScience.com. Every single claim in this Guardian article is fake news, which has become the gold standard for most of the mainstream media.